Hey Memphis, this is Best in Blue. This show is just like it sounds. We're talking to the best and brightest in the Memphis Police Department. In each episode, we do a deep dive into the various jobs within the department, and more importantly, we do a deep dive into the lives of the very human men and women behind the badge. And now, here's your host, Candace Gray.
Hello, and welcome back to another special episode of Best in Blue, sponsored by the Memphis Police Department and empowered by Kadzukian. This is a 3-part series called The Progress Report. Chief CJ Davis is here to give a snapshot of the strides that have been made in 2023, as well as a glimpse into what 2024 will hold. In this episode, we will discuss 21st century policing strategies. We will talk about things and really get into the nitty-gritty of it, even though we have talked a little bit about this topic before. What do 21st century policing strategies mean? What does it mean for the department? What does it mean for us as citizens of Memphis? We will take a quick break and be right back with Chief CJ Davis and Best in Blue, The Progress Report.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join the Memphis Police Department. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. Incentives include pension, health, vision, dental, and life insurance, 25-year retirement, take-home cars, over 75 specialized units. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
And we're back with Chief CJ Davis. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's get into the matter at hand, 21st century policing strategies. Chief Davis, let's talk a little bit more about what the concept means, what it looks like. What should the citizens of Memphis expect?
So 21st century policing came about during the Barack Obama administration.
Okay.
On the heels of, different incidents involving police and community members that where there were abuses of use of force. Mm-hmm. And so from different incidents, the Department of Justice and the COPS office under the Obama administration decided to bring together a task force of professionals. Some of these professionals came from the academic, community, but many of them were law enforcement leaders. Some of them came out of the court system and other areas of criminal justice. Mm-hmm. They were basically subject matter experts to really come together to talk about what are the key areas of community policing and 21st century policing that are really important for us to be able to establish a model, a guide for agencies around the country to adopt and to begin to implement in their police departments. Okay. And some of those concepts, actually, there were 6 pillars. And some of those pillars, I'll touch on a few that I think that were really important. One of them was procedural justice. And procedural justice was really about trust and legitimacy. And when people think in terms of, what do you mean legitimacy? What it is that community members need to know that police officers are working for a legitimate cause. Sure. That they are enforcing the law for legitimate reasons, not just because they decide they want to, flex or whatever the case might be. Right. And so procedural justice and trust and legitimacy became one of those pillars that was really important. Okay. And trainings and various other types of opportunities for officers to become really familiar with what that concept looked like in application. Okay. And so it took community members to be involved and have, various types of town hall meetings and discussions about what does it mean for you to trust the police? We know, or we think we know what the community wants when it comes to trust, but it was important to get their input as well. Training was really important as a pillar. Officer wellness is important. A lot of A lot of people don't really realize how important officer wellness
Oh,
is. If you
yes.
have an officer that's struggling with all kinds of health problems
Yeah.
or substance abuse problems or other dependencies, that could potentially manifest itself into some very negative behavior
That's right.
while they're in uniform and at work. So officer wellness was really, really important. And of course, I mentioned training being not just the standard routine types of operational things that officers really need to know, but what does leadership training look like? De-escalation, conflict resolution, all of those other elements that are really important for an officer to be able to do a really good job and to be able to navigate different types of situations. And so as a result came about crisis intervention training. So officers could mitigate situations without always using force.
Sure.
Negotiating and helping people to overcome whatever situation it is, whether it's a domestic violence type of situation or whether it's someone who's struggling from a mental crisis. So crisis intervention training was really, really important as well. And then accountability is one of the pillars too. How do we hold officers accountable, departments accountable, leadership accountable? What does that look like? And some of that really plays into our disciplinary processes, our checks and balances, and ensuring that we have ways to audit, whether it's body worn camera footage or some type of oversight, on different types of calls. When does a supervisor get there to make sure everything is being done the way that the department and policy dictates?
Sure. That is a lot.
That was a lot. I know.
I know what you're busy doing every day, at least part of the day.
Right.
I know that one of the things you mentioned is citizen partnership, having town halls and really working with the community to build trust and to bridge that gap between, the department and the citizens. There's several components of this. Hiring some of the retired officers goes into that. Can you just talk a little bit about what else is happening on that front?
So for me, community engagement is really an exciting topic because I believe if we do good work on that side of the table, then, our crime problems wouldn't be near as bad.
Absolutely.
Because if we can help our community members to help with prevention, help with investigations and communicating and identifying signs of trouble or trends in their community, we can intercept before things get out of hand. And so in the police department, even though we're one entity and one service, component of the city, community engagement is really important, bringing those officers back. Because our officers, our active officers are on the street running from call to call to call.
Right.
And sometimes they don't have time to stop and really have conversations with our community members about how do you shore up your business? How do you shore up your house? What's wrong with your lighting here? You need to cut your bushes down. What are some things that you can do as a citizen to make yourself safe? And so our retired officers are doing a great job by going out to the community. They do presentations at churches, they do presentations at recreation centers, and they do monthly presentations. Sometimes they go to private entities where employees want to hear about how they can do better with safety in their own personal lives. And so we found that bringing officers back has been sort of like a force multiplier. It helps us build our community engagement kind of program without taking officers off the street. But we do work with young people. We have a Dare Great program where we teach young people, 4th and 5th graders, about how to resist guns, how to resist gang activity, how to resist drugs. And by the time they go through this 9-week program, they're screaming and hollering that I will not do drugs, I will not do guns, I will not handle guns, and I will report, crimes and things like that. So for me,
those are in-school programs?
Yes, we partner with schools.
Okay.
We partner with schools. We graduate about 500 students annually through that program.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the name of the officer that's over that program? There's two, a man and a woman. I forget their names, but
We just recently had some changes.
Some
One
new-
is
okay.
Officer Leak.
Oh yes,
And
that's
she's
right.
been in that program for a long time. She's
yeah.
very passionate about
Yeah.
it. And just to see her in action with those kids is amazing.
Mhm. Yeah, she has a passion for them.
Yeah, she does.
I remember her
she's
sharing.
very good at it
Yeah,
too.
she
And when
shared a
she walks
story.
in the room
Mhm.
at graduations, the kids just go
They
crazy.
love her.
They
Yeah.
love her. Yeah.
She had mentioned one time there was a student that had gone through the program, and she had stayed with her for years and years and years.
Yes.
And then when she graduated from college, she was there at the
Yes.
graduation. And I think that speaks to how close we really can be
Yeah.
with the community.
Absolutely.
So I think programs like that are amazing. So you mentioned DARE. What about, there's ICOP and there's
Yes.
PAL. Can you talk
Yeah.
a little bit about those?
So the Police Athletic League is a program where
That's PAL.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
PAL. And what we do is we try to identify youth in some of the more distressed communities that don't get an opportunity to get to recreation centers and be involved in organized sports.
Okay.
And sometimes it's very difficult for parents to get their kids to programs or get them to the nearest recreation center. And so what we plan to do is we plan to not just restore or rejuvenate our Police Athletic League program, we actually plan to house it, over in our Rain Station area.
Okay.
We have a precinct over there that is currently sort of dormant, but we plan to revitalize that precinct.
Wonderful.
And that will be our community engagement. It's the old Allen Station.
Okay.
So I'm letting a
yeah.
secret out.
Okay.
And,
You heard it here
yes,
first.
you heard it here first. And we're looking at the architecture of the building and really, redesigning and sort of retrofitting that building so that we can have after school labs for young people,
That's wonderful.
an opportunity for them to be involved in sports and all kinds of other support, mentoring, and so on. So we're really
That's
excited about that.
That's good.
And we're also very involved with Girl Scouts now.
Okay.
We have
Wonderful.
established a Girl Scout troop at every precinct,
Wow.
and we have about 44.
Something else to look into,
Yeah.
everybody. Girl Scouts at your local precinct.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have female officers who are actually volunteering. We've got about 40 female officers who are volunteering to be troop masters.
Yeah.
And so
That's
mistresses or
amazing.
masters or whatever you call it,
whatever
troop
you call it.
leaders.
Right, troop leaders.
And so we're excited about that because those opportunities to really engage young people and talk to
Yeah.
them about public safety and how to keep themselves safe and really have conversations sometimes about things that they may be in danger in their community or even at their home. And so we're really excited about that. And our Citizens Police Academy it serves several people every year. Our academy classes we normally graduate about 60 to 75
Okay.
in a class.
And how long are the classes usually? How many weeks?
They're usually about 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay.
One night a week
Mm-hmm.
for about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay.
And once you complete the program, it's usually on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night, and they're at every precinct. All 9 precincts run a Citizens Police Academy at that precinct. So we're running 9 classes at the same time.
Wow.
And so once everybody gets done, at the end of their training, we have this huge graduation, and those individuals become ambassadors to the police department.
Amazing. So if you are looking for a solution or to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem, you can go to
our website.
the website and learn more about these classes that are happening in your local precinct. We are going to take a quick break right here, but we will be right back with more from Chief CJ Davis on Best in Blue. Stay tuned.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join the Memphis Police Department. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. Incentives include pension, health, vision, dental, and life insurance. 25-year retirement, take-home cars, over 75 specialized units. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Welcome back to Best in Blue, the Progress Report. Oh, there's so much good information to share and so much to pack in such a short amount of time. So we're just going to jump right back in.
Yes.
Chief, I'd like to know, how important is it for you to make sure that the department reflects the demographics of the Memphis community?
So, part of 21st century policing is really recruiting and also paying very close attention to those types of ideas when it comes to what your police, the composition of your police department, and that it is reflective of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And as your community grows in different areas, you really should pay attention to making sure that various community members are represented in the police department, especially as we continue to grow our Latino community.
That's right.
And we need officers that are bilingual. So we become laser focused and really strategic about going places where we can actually recruit bilingual officers.
That's
We've done rather well. Now, the other piece is that sometimes people think demographics of a police department being about Black, white, Asian, Hispanic. The demographics of the police department also need to be reflective of men and women.
That's right.
And ensuring that there are women in the police department that represent the community that they serve as well.
Yes.
And I have found in my career that women have a different set of, attributes
That's right.
as it
That's
relates
right.
to how we approach various, types of situations. So the balance is important, to have balance in how we approach various situations. You can go on a call where there may be children involved. And sometimes a female officer is more effective than a male officer because she has more of a motherly sort of image.
Sure.
And sometimes if you have a victim that's a victim of a female, sometimes it's better to have a male.
That's right.
To deal with that particular child. So it's really important for us to ensure that the demographics of the police department is reflective of the community. That's why I have a Latino liaison in the police department. I also have an LGBTQ
That's amazing.
liaison as well, so that we can have individuals whose roles are to reach out to these various communities so they don't feel isolated.
That's right.
And that they feel that they are a part of the programming that we have to offer in the police department.
Absolutely. And we've talked to some of those leads. If you want to go back and check out some of the other Best in Blue episodes, we've talked to some of those officers as well.
Yes.
I'd like to know, as we come upon a new year, we know we're trying to do things a little differently this year. The discipline matrix, I think we talked about it a little bit last time.
Yes.
Can you tell us how it will differ now from how it has been in the past?
Well, I think there won't be significant changes.
Okay.
And the reason why I say it won't be significant changes is because 2.5 years ago, when I first came to Memphis, I started looking at policies and procedures.
Okay.
And I don't just write policies and procedures and have them written because this is what C.J. Davis thinks they need to look at. What I look at is best practices around the country.
Sure.
And I vet various, policies, procedures by the Department of Justice, by the COPS office, by the Police Executive Research Forum. What are the best and most recent policies that work well for police departments?
Sure.
And then we model behind that, because we always want to be a department that's modeling behind best practices.
That's right.
And so when we started working on making changes to our policies, we felt really comfortable, even as we've gone through various types of situations where we've had to discipline officers. Our policies were in place where we had to, address whether it's someone that required some type of follow-up because of substance abuse, or whether it was a situation that was the use of force, whether that person needed additional training. And the other thing about our policy is that we created a disciplinary matrix so that out of the 9 precincts and the various police organizations or sections that we have in the police department, whatever one officer does that's a violation, the penalty for that should be the same as what another officer is getting in another precinct. So that matrix helps us to have consistency. One commander might say, I'm just going to give him a letter of reprimand. Another commander for the same thing would say, I want them to have 3-day suspension. So the disciplinary matrix is really not about hurting officers. It's about making sure that officers are treated the same.
Sure.
And discipline, and every time I get a chance to talk about this, I really want to reiterate the discipline isn't about punishing people. It's about correcting behavior.
Yeah.
And what we want is we want to be able to correct things when they're small things.
That's right.
So that
Before they get out of hand.
Before they get out of hand.
Yeah.
And so with that in mind, we're always thinking in terms of maybe this doesn't require a suspension day or, some type of adverse action that really hurts an officer's pay or whatever. It's not that serious, but it does require some training. You shouldn't have talked to that person that way.
Yeah.
You didn't hit him, you didn't hurt him or anything like that, but your tone wasn't quite right. We're going to send you conflict resolution or interpersonal communication skills.
Sure.
And that's what we need to really think about from a holistic standpoint of how we implement discipline. It doesn't always have to be, some harsh kind of punishment.
Yeah. Wonderful. I want to know a little bit more about Connect Memphis. And I know we've talked a little bit about it before and how it is such a great tool.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know how has the community embraced the program? Have we been able to solve more crimes as a result of people, signing up? Tell us a little bit about where we are with it.
So we're still relatively in the embryonic stages of it. It's been up probably 5 months now.
Okay.
And we've had a very robust 5 months with people going online to sign up and register their cameras. I'd like to really dispel the myth that the Memphis Police Department wants to be able to integrate your residential cameras. No, we don't.
No.
What we want...
Nobody's looking at your footage, just hanging out, right?
No, nobody's looking at your footage. What we want is for residents to go online and say, I have a camera system and I live at such and such address.
Yeah.
And that's all we want is to know that you have a camera system and you live at such and such address. So if there were some type of crime that occurred on your block or, say, for instance, an auto theft or someone was assaulted or something like that, and it happened in the 300 block of Jones Street, well, we know that there's a person with a registered camera at, 3002. Jones Street. Let's pick up the phone and ask them, would you check your footage for Saturday at about 2:00 in the morning and see if you see a black vehicle or anything on camera footage? So that's really the idea, to really just get the cooperation from our community members to say, sure. Because if we can catch that guy and he's in your community, we can keep him out of your community and other communities by using that information as leads to investigate that case.
That's amazing. Have you seen any successes so far with the camera systems helping to solve a particular crime?
Yes, we have. So there are 2 ways to utilize our Connect to Memphis program. One is to register your camera as a resident.
Okay.
And then the other way is to actually have your cameras integrated as a business.
Okay.
So say, for instance, at your business here and you have exterior cameras. We don't want interior cameras. If you have exterior cameras, then what you would do is you would work with our team and we actually integrate your camera footage. So if there were some type of robbery or some type of other crime that occurred at this particular address, the future state is that the closest 5 cameras to this business would automatically show up in our real-time crime center.
Wow.
That way we could see vehicles coming and going. We could talk to officers that are coming this way because there was a burglary at Kazukian. Heaven forbid there won't be a burglary here.
Right.
But it would be a real-time way of being able to not only communicate to that officer, but eventually be able to show the officer in his vehicle the footage of this location so that he can see what's going on in the perimeter as he is moving in this direction.
That's amazing.
So integration is really important. It's not that we're sitting there watching everybody's cameras, but what it is if something does happen on your lot, we'd be able to get information real time and to be able to respond in a way that we can share that information with other officers who are headed in your direction.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. I want to make sure that people understand Connect Memphis is one of those things, once again, that they can be involved in and they can be part of the solution. You guys can't do it by yourselves.
Right.
There's only about 2,000 officers.
We have a little under 2,000 officers right now. And actually, the Memphis Police Department really covers and services an area about 3 times the size of Atlanta and many other cities. We have a very large geographical footprint. It's like 340 square miles, which is huge. Atlanta's 120 square miles, and their authorized strength is 2,000.
Wow.
Our authorized strength here is 2,500, but what we have is 2,000, close to 2,000. Yeah.
So we need a couple more boots on the ground.
That's right. I can make a
men, women, everybody.
Pitch.
Yeah. We need.
We absolutely do, and we have a 30 by 30 initiative in recruiting, and so we hope to have 30% women in our police department by 2030.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are we doing on that number
really
so far?
Well, actually, our classes have been full of women.
Good.
You know, we have like 40 women in a class, and sometimes it's 40%. We've had one that was about 50% female.
That's great.
So it's really exciting to see so many women attracted to what was a male-dominated environment.
That's right. Well, we know women have a certain je ne sais quoi qualities that are very useful in every field, but especially in the police department.
That's right.
So cheers to you and kudos to you. I know there's still a lot of great work to be done.
Yes.
I'm just thankful to have Chief C.J. Davis here for sharing this impactful information. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
This has been a special edition of Best in Blue, The Progress Report, Part 2 of the 3-part series. We'll be back with one more episode where Chief Davis will break down the much talked about crime stats in our city. Again, this is Best in Blue, presented by the Memphis Police Department, empowered by Kadzukian. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Best in Blue. And we'd just love to hear from you. Let us know what you think about our series. Once again, I'm Candace Gray. Until next time.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join the Memphis Police Department. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. Incentives include pension, health, vision, dental, and life insurance, 25-year retirement, take-home cars, over 75 specialized units. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now.